Hey everyone, this is Dan Gorgone with Treehouse. We're here in Orlando at the In Control Conference, and our guest right now is Samantha Warren from Twitter. Hi, Samantha.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me today.
So I wanted to ask, for the benefit of those who aren't familiar with you, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
I'm currently a designer at Twitter. I've been in the industry, I guess, for about, 9 years now. I went to school for print design. And shortly after doing print design, I happened into a very unique situation where someone actually offered to teach me HTML and CSS, and so I got into the web industry, and I've worked at all sorts of different agencies and in-house ever since.
Working at these different agencies, you've had a bunch of different experiences with different kinds of clients, internal clients, external.
Yeah.
Can you tell us maybe some of the main ideas, some of the tips that I think all of us need to know when we want to try to gain the trust of clients and prospectives?
It's about expectations. Every time you walk into a new project with a client or a stakeholder, they're going to have different expectations about what they're going to get, what they're paying for, what the final result will be, their level of involvement in the project. And it's about having a process that, we talk a lot about responsive design and the idea that the screen width responds to whatever device you're on or whatever screen width you're on, but it's also a little bit about how our design process responds to the situation that it's in, the types of clients that you're working with, what they're expecting, but also the type of team you're on, who's helping out, what kind of timeline, what kind of budget you have, because all of those things are always different. I've never had two projects that are exactly the same. So how do you create a toolbox and a set of like an infrastructure to always know where to begin and how to be flexible throughout the entire process?
One of those things in the toolbox, so to speak, would be the style tiles.
Yes.
I think. So can you tell us about style tiles and what kind of, well, I suppose it's client interaction probably drove you to creating this?
Well, over a period of time, I began to have many projects that had some similarities. One being that they were clients that already had a brand or a logo, maybe a color palette. They already had some expectations as far as what sort of design they were going to get in the end. And so this and many of those clients also, to some degree, would have limited budgets. And so I needed a way to be able to still give them options out from the very get-go without necessarily spending all the time of making full mock-ups, different options of full mock-ups for them, and still get them the product in time. So developing a process where I asked a lot of questions and then made what at first I called actually simple comps, just like a piece of a comp, to give them some options and have them be part of the process, really listening to what they're saying and showing them the correlation between what they said and how that actually translated in the process. Yeah, so I started out with making simple comps, which were sort of smaller versions of a comp, and that sort of morphed into what I call the style tiles. And even just calling them style tiles with cascading style sheets, a client understood that that was a direct reference to CSS and that was for the web, because a lot of branding agencies or logo agencies will sometimes do mood boards, for example, with their clients. So a style tile is actually a lot like a mood board, but more specific to the web. And by doing that, clients feel more involved in the process.
And I think that's part of gaining their trust too, is that when clients sort of give everything to you and they're kind of waiting for, hopefully they'll get things right, hopefully they'll understand my vision as the client, because there are plenty of clients out there who fancy themselves as designers and they're really not. But I could see that this is a nice happy medium where they can get their hands on some kinds of designs, and you've already sort of set the limits there.
Well, it's a tough situation because at the end of the day, the client is paying for the website they're getting, so they have to be happy with it. They have to feel as though that was something that they helped create. So by really listening to what your clients are saying and showing them, this is what you're saying, and this is how I'm going to actually take that into account and apply that to the goals and objectives that your users have. It doesn't necessarily mean doing exactly what your clients are asking, but it's more taking them down the path and showing them the journey that you're going through in order to get the final product that would be the best solution.
So you've done this and you've created this not just for clients, but for everyone. Like you've opened this up. It's Creative Commons. It's accessible to everyone.
Yes.
So devil's advocate, why would I why would I release my secrets?
Yeah.
And this great process to potential other designers out there who might steal my business. Why give that away?
So I've been really fortunate to be surrounded by some very smart people who are active in the open source community, and specifically in the development community. I've seen a lot of what they've done as far as how that's helped progress where the web is currently. And so for me, I see that development has made such great strides by opening up and making their secrets transparent to the world and sharing. So I really feel very passionately about having that same kind of community feel within the design area. It has been for so long, this idea of like, oh, keep it secret, like this is my secret sauce and this is what you're paying for. But at the end of the day, we all want great looking websites. Like, how many times do you go to a website and you're like, oh, that's just so terrible? I mean, it would be wonderful if the web was all, beautiful. Like, so let's help each other to share what works for you. I'm not saying Style Tiles works for everyone at all. Like, I just happen to have a situation that happened over and over and over, and I thought to myself, there has to be a way that I can do this better, and maybe I can save time for other people to help them get farther faster.
So you mentioned secrets. So let's talk Twitter.
Okay.
What are all the Twitter secrets? No, but tell us about what is it like working at Twitter, and particularly as a designer, what is it like working there?
Well, the design team at Twitter is currently around 40 designers. It's a really passionate, talented group of people who all come from different walks of life all over the country, and we get together to solve big problems. And it's definitely very different than working in client services or an agency, but being surrounded by really smart people is wonderfully refreshing, and it's like a fountain. Like you take in so much from all of these different designers, which allows there to be so much creativity to give back.
So 40 designers for 140 characters. I mean, a lot of people have to be wondering, what are all these people doing? And I know you can't reveal all the secrets, of course, but so we're talking about different ways of maybe bringing Twitter to different parts of the world, to different devices, different sorts of interfaces?
Well, when I first applied, that was the first thing I thought. I was like, well, what would I do at Twitter? It's only 140 characters. But when you start to really think about all of the things that Twitter does, Twitter is so many different things to so many different people all over the world on different devices, and in so many different ways. You have people in the Middle East who are using it to communicate and start revolutions. You have people just down the street probably Twittering their lunch right now. I mean, it could be anything to anyone. And so really trying to put together a team of smart people who can solve lots of different kinds of problems. I'm sure you could come up with a list right now of things that you've thought, well, why don't they do this? Or how come this is this way? And I can assure you, all of those things are on a list for us too. And it takes a lot of people to try and accomplish all of those things.
So parting thoughts, advice for designers. Now, designers that are out there, if they're watching this interview, they've already heard you talk about some of the ways you can gain the trust of clients, and kind of this philosophy of sharing and collaborating and working together. What other keys are there out there for people who want to get into the design game?
Well, there's quite a few things. I think, for one, I've seen a lot of designers who get right out of school lately and think that their design career is a sprint. Like, let's get to the end right away. Let's do these crazy big projects. And my first piece of advice would be to see it as a marathon. Like, take on some of those harder projects. Do some things that may not feel comfortable or right. Try making a responsive website for yourself, and then try making it again. And then do it again. And do some things that may not necessarily seem like short-term gains, but really, really do them to make yourself feel uncomfortable and do the hard work to learn things for the long term. So that would be my first piece of advice. Another thing would be to just have fun. Like, really don't take your work too seriously. Have fun and learn from the people around you. We're doing really important things, but at the end of the day, we all become designers because we love this stuff. This industry is full of passionate people. Don't lose your passion, don't become jaded, and really, really look at the bright side of things.
Nice, awesome. So how can we follow you on from here out? Twitter?
Yeah, on Twitter, I am at Samantha Toy. Toy is my middle name, so that would be probably the best way to find me online.
Okay, awesome. Well, thank you for your time. Really appreciate it. Samantha Warren from Twitter. Thanks for joining us here on Treehouse Friends. See you next time.